It's going to be a really nice day today because this is another corner of the Peak District that I rarely visit. In fact, I've only actually visited Lyme Park once before, and that was many years ago. Lyme Park lies at the edge of the Peak District, overlooking the northern Cheshire Plain, and although now almost touched by the fringes of the Greater Manchester conurbation, it encompasses a surprisingly vast area of rough grassy hills. The estate is managed by the National Trust and consists of a mansion house surrounded by formal gardens in a deer park. Lyme Hall is the largest house in Cheshire and is recorded in the National Heritage List for England as a designated Grade 1 listed building. The estate was granted to St Thomas Daniers in 1346 and passed to the Lee family in 1388. It remained in the possession of the Lee family until 1946, when it was given to the National Trust. The house dates from the latter part of the 16th century. Modifications were made to it in the 1720s by Giacomo Leone, who retained some of the Elizabethan features and added others, particularly the courtyard and the south range. It is difficult to classify Leone's work at Lyme, as it contains elements of both Palladian and Baroque styles. Further modifications were made by Lewis Wyatt in the 19th century, especially to the interior. Formal gardens were created and developed in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The house, gardens and park have been used as locations for filming, and they are open to the public. I walked into the courtyard, to which Leone gave a rusticated cloister on all sides. In the centre of the courtyard is an Italian Renaissance wellhead, surrounded by checkered pink and white stone, simulating marble. And if anybody ever watched the 1995 TV version of Pride and Prejudice starring Colin Firth, Lyme Park was actually used as a location for the home of Mr. Darcy. Starting my walk, I climbed a trod which led away from the gateway to the north front of the house and rose between a sparse avenue of trees along the broad back of a long grassy hill. Soon I came to a square tower at the far end, known as the Cage. It was originally a hunting lodge, and was later used as a park keeper's cottage and as a lock-up for prisoners. The first structure on the site was built about 1580. This was taken down and rebuilt in 1737, possibly to a design by Leone for Peter Lee X. The tower is built in buff sandstone rubble with ashlar sandstone dressings. It is square in plan with 3 stories, with attached small square towers surmounted by cupolas at the corners. The cage is a Grade 2 listed building. Lyme Park was enclosed from the surrounding Macclesfield Forest in 1346 as a private deer park, and soon became noted for its fine herd of red deer. Hunting was a popular sport for the Lees, and the cage was used as a lookout for the ladies to watch the proceedings in comfort. Deer still roam freely across the estate, although they are not always easy to see. At the foot of the cage, I doubled back across the heath towards Kennel Wood. As I approached a circular clump of trees, I turned off right and climbed the hill in the direction of Lantern Wood. Entering Lantern Wood, I soon passed above the lantern, a folly built of stones taken from Lyme Hall. I decided to walk down to it to take a closer look. It has 3 stories and a spire. The lower story is square in plan, while the other stories and the spire are octagonal. The top story and spire dates from about 1580 and originally formed a bell cut on the north gatehouse. This was removed during the restoration of the house by Lewis Wyatt and rebuilt on the present site. It is a Grade 2 listed building. Moving on, I left Lantern Wood at its far end, over another ladder stile, and onto the bare hillside. The path followed the wall up the hill to the top of the wood. At the top, the path turned within the shallow corner to continue along the eastern boundary of the estate. I stopped here briefly to look at the view. As I climbed up to the high point of the estate, I came across a topograph, its plinth extending the panorama by allowing walkers to see to the east over the tall wall. Reaching another ladder stile by a gate, I passed out of Lyme Park as the path led onto the end of a lane beside a lonely farmhouse called Bowstone or Bowstone Gate Farm. Just next to the farm are the Bowstones, believed to be part of the shafts of late Saxon crosses, and might have been set here to serve as landmarks or boundary stones. My route, however, carried on in the direction of Charles Head, as I entered a gated walled track, which ran along the hilltop, heading out onto the open moor towards Spons Hill. Just before Spons Hill, I turned off the main track to follow a path signposted to Pot Shrigley. After a short distance, I climbed the grassy spoil heaps of old workings to a waymarked fence stile at Dale Top. Over that, I walked straight ahead down the hill, guided by a stone wall on the right. Here the views extended across the Cheshire Plain, where landmarks such as Jodrell Bank Telescope and Alderley Edge can be seen, with the distant hills behind them belonging to Wales. Farther around to the right is the Wirral Peninsula and Merseyside, while the Greater Manchester conurbation nestles at the foot of the Pennine Hills. At the bottom of the hill, I joined a track called Moorside Lane. Turning right here, I passed Keeper's Cottage and headed to a wall stile by a gate, signposted to Higher Poynton. From here, I walked along a path crossing diagonally over open grass. The continuing path dipped across a tree-lined gully before passing above Cluse Hay, a deepening clough, to eventually emerge onto the end of a track by some houses. I followed it out to a lane beside Green Close Methodist Church. Immediately leaving the lane again, I walked along another track for a short way to West Parkgate Lodge. Turning right in front of it, I went through a gate re-entering the Lyme Park estate. I followed a delightful track winding through the valley of Hase Wood, which in early summer is bright with colourful rhododendrons. Eventually I emerged from the wood and followed the drive through open parkland back to Lyme Hall. Today's walk has been yet another excellent one. But now that I've finished, I'm going to go and enjoy a nice soothing cup of tea in one of the cafes here on the Lavish Lyme Park estate. Well, apart from it being a really nice walk, I'm going to remember today for one thing. It's been really nice weather, dry, warm, but flippin' heck it's been windy.